And more people are doing that. That could be the cause of disaffiliation. That could be one of the fundamental causes of disaffiliation. Now, I'm not saying you should marry in your faith. But as parents, do you want your kids to marry in the faith? That would be an interesting question. Do you care? When you talk to your kids, do you say, I think you should marry in your faith? Okay, raise your hand. Okay, Larry, you're saying no. Why?
No, well, our son married into a Hindu family. And I rejoice that my son, or my grandson, gets to hear his other grandparents share their Hindu faith.
Yeah.
And he also went to the Jewish Community Center in Kansas City and was in the process of teaching me all the Hebrew scriptures.
Oh, yeah.
At age 5.
Yeah. No,
But that wasn't an issue for us.
Was an issue. Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't see that one's don't mind if my daughter is the daughter of a Presbyterian pastor, and she is like a church lady. I mean, she's just really active in her church. She married a Catholic. He's very active in his church. She's very active in her church, and the kids, went to Bible school in both of them, and the communicants class sort of thing in both of them. And I know that's still Christianity.
Yeah.
But still, I know Jews that marry Christians, and I know a Christian that married a Muslim, and you don't have to give up your faith. I mean, it may be easier.
Yeah. And I'm not suggesting you should or. What I'm saying is, when you do marry outside your faith, usually you stop.
But maybe you married outside your faith because maybe you really weren't that.
It could be. It could be. I'm just giving you kind of the trends. These are all trends.
I had a sister that married in the Catholic Church, and Catholic churches started Sunday school. All the teachers were ex-Protestants. So that's a subversive way of the Protestants getting the Catholics.
Yeah. Again, that's not outside the religion. I'm talking outside the religion or somebody who has no faith. Yeah.
Again, not particularly pertinent to this, but it
Yeah.
seems to me I used to work at Grace for People.
Yes.
And you publish bans almost. Anyhow, I think a lot more people are not getting married. They're living together.
Yes, living together. Yeah. Those trends for sure. Yeah. Go
I'm
ahead.
privileged to have friends from about 15 different faith communities in this town,
Yes.
and they pride themselves on the fact that they would say to their children, we would lovingly accept your spouse,
Yeah.
no matter what the faith, which is maybe just the opposite of what they should be saying, but we pride ourselves on being open and
Yeah.
loving.
Yeah, I am not against this. I'm just saying, if you want kids to stay in the faith, they should, sociologically, I'm speaking as a sociologist. If they marry inside their faith, much more apt to continue a faith. So don't take it as like critique, or I'm not trying to be normative, but I'm just saying part of the reason why people are disaffiliating is many more people are marrying outside their faith. Yeah, that's all.
In the evangelical versus liberal book, you talked about one of the strengths of the evangelical church was the encouragement of family and having children and sustaining and supporting those children, and that was one way of church growth. That the more children you have, the more people you have in the faith, and that at that point in the book you talked about liberal churches not necessarily having that strength of supporting families and young families. Is that still a trend?
Yeah, no, it's very much a trend. It's very much what liberal churches do. and I know this sounds, I'm being gloomy again and critique-ish, but liberals tend not to, in my research, liberals tended to even discourage their kids from coming to church. And so you wonder why evangelicals are staying the same or growing. They encourage or demand, probably require their kids to be in church. And they go out of the way to make their churches as youth-friendly, child-friendly as they can. Okay? So I'm just saying, if we don't want to continue a decline basically into obsolescence, these are the trends that the obsolescence is coming. If you don't want that, maybe you do want that. I mean, sometimes I talk to liberals and you get the feeling they would just prefer us to go away. I'm just telling you how growth happens. Is that, you with me on this?
Yeah.
I know you guys are looking at me like,
No,
he's not a true liberal Protestant.
Can you say liberal?
Why the hell do we have him at this church?
What's liberal? What is liberal?
Well, liberal is the tendency to believe that Christianity is not the only way. The tendency to believe the Bible is inspired and not necessarily the Word of God. Those kinds of belief systems. Which I wrote in Evangelical versus Liberal, that those kind of belief systems tended to make churches decline. And so I'm just doing sociology, guys. This is just sociology. Okay, I'll give you an example of this, and you probably won't love this. Marcus Borg, right? He writes the book called The Heart of Christianity. I love his stuff. Okay, bear with me. Not one word about the church. I checked it out. Not one word. Now, that may be his belief system, that organized religion sucks and is a stench in the nose of God, whatever. I don't think he believed that. But it certainly wasn't at the heart. Okay, so what I would say is, I love Borg, I love what he's doing, or did, but there was no church in the life, there was no organization to help nurture the faith. There's no sociology in it. There's psychology, but no sociology. Does that make sense? I'm not being, I know I'm sounding nasty, but so what I'm saying to you, the sociology shows certain things. There's really a good reason. There's a good reason liberal Protestants are declining. It's sociology. I like your message, but the sociological equipment to encourage the nurture of faith has to be there as well. Yeah.
I might be jumping ahead, but these really extreme far alt-right people and picking up the weapons and so on, can you tie that into this trend of the decline of mainline churches? And
No, how so?
well, I don't know how so. But I mean,
Well, I mean, the other thing I would say, read my book. You read my book, Evangelicals versus Liberals. And I did that book is to really find out what evangelicals actually did. And what I found out is that they're actually not bigots. They're actually not grotesque towards gay people. They're not trying to create a theocracy. They're actually just simple people who love their family, trying to raise their family in the love for the Lord. It's pretty simple. If you read the book, it shows exactly how they organize all their churches around their families, and they encourage their families in the faith. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. Yeah, go ahead.
Is Christian education in the mainline denominations there?
Well, you You tell me. Yeah, you tell me. I mean, this is exceptional. You guys are incredible that you even came out. I'm shocked that a more liberal Protestant group would come out and talk about these things. They just don't do it anymore. That's the answer to your question.
What's the research?
They're dying. They're just dying.
Well, I mean, in terms of the education component.
Oh, yeah,
I
sorry.
don't know what your faith is based upon.
Pretty, well.
I mean, I think that's the question.
Yeah, no, see, I mean, you know, I don't think churches have changed dramatically since I wrote that book. But what you found, or what I found, is that Christian education for adults is concentrated, is done. But what I found among the kind of the more liberal churches is kind of I found families basically saying to their kids, stay at home, I don't want you to bother me in church. Okay, that's really what I found.
Yeah, look somewhere else.
Pardon me?
You're looking in the wrong places.
What do you mean?
I can't imagine that. I mean,
Oh, no.
maybe everybody, you know, that says
What?
that, but I can't imagine any of my friends.
But you said to, I mean, this is based on a lot of research. So it wasn't, I'm not just making shit up, as they say.
Maybe that's part of the difference between Kansas that she's pointing out, or Pennsylvania and these other places.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about, I don't know, we have kids running around all the time in our services.
Yeah,
And
well,
there's a sense to which, you know, how much do you accept it? Like you said, you know, we're not asking them to stay home. In fact, I get angry if somebody says anything to a,
true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why there's a group here.
yeah.
I mean, the fact that you're doing something different. I'm just saying, hooray.
I can't imagine somebody saying,
Well,
my children would bother me if I wouldn't want them
oh
to
yeah,
bother me.
oh yeah. Bother other people? Yep. Yeah, I'm just, I'm not making this up. I'm not trying to discourage you. If you're keeping kids in and involved, God bless you. That's what keeps the institution alive.
I can say something that supports what you're saying.
I'm gonna get her. Go
Well,
ahead.
I think this maybe follows along on both of those comments. And so I have not read the book yet, Evangelical versus Liberal, but is the research nationwide, or is it concentrated in a particular geographic area?
It's more concentrated in the West, for sure. So that could be
Yeah.
a distinction. But the decline is happening everywhere. So it's not, the decline is happening everywhere. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sure.
You mentioned your perspective on what evangelicals really believe and what they're doing for the simple.
Yeah.
I don't know what it looks like on the West Coast, but my experience in probing those situations here, I come out of them and back.
Yeah.
So I have a connection back into the beach. The conversation goes something like this. I ask, well, are they preaching from the pulpit? But what are they preaching from the pulpit in terms of politics? In politics, churches I've asked about are not preaching a great deal about very much direct political involvement, but come to the men's breakfast. The general gist is, how could you be a Christian and not vote for Trump,
Right.
vote for Obama?
Right.
So
Come tomorrow night to my talk. That's what I'm talking about, for sure. I agree.
Is this spur of what you said?
Partly, not it, again, I'll just say, not all evangelicals. Not all evangelicals are Trumpites.
Or have a specific political reason about what a Christian would have to
Totally,
be?
yes,
Well,
yeah.
some might argue that a true Christian would be
Yeah.
no matter what.
No, I think you get differentiation in the evangelical community on politics, for sure. There is a hardcore right, for sure.
Percentages of where they are.
I think, I'll double check that. Come tomorrow night.